Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. I'm your host, Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Let's take a look at our Quiz Class awards. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end, along with the answer to the bonus question. Which article of the United States Constitution establishes the executive branch of the federal government? 2, 3, or 4? 2. Which dish is not a savory pancake? Khachapuri, dosha, or okonomiyaki? Khachapuri. What shape is a standard European pillowcase? Rectangular, triangular, or square? Square. Who said genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration? Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, or Thomas Edison? Thomas Edison. In ancient Rome, what festival honored Liber Pater? Liberophilia, Libertania, or Liberalia? Liberalia. What type of chain is used for a bicycle? Roller, belcher, or cable? Roller. In what 5-year arc of the 21st century did Pope Francis become head of the Catholic Church? From 2005 to 2010, 2010 to 2015, or 2015 to 2020? 2010 to 2015. What is the strongest ocean current? Equatorial countercurrent, Labrador current, or the Antarctic circumpolar current? The Antarctic circumpolar current. What was the Apple brand renamed to in 2007? Apple Org, Apple Core, or Apple Inc.? Apple Inc. What is the rarest metal on Earth? Radium, francium, or cesium? Francium. How many darts are in a set? 3, 6, or 9? 3. What is a thurible used for? Rhythm, temperature, or incense? Incense. What technology was introduced to Mount Everest for the 2025 climbing season? Glamping, drones, or Wi-Fi? Drones. Who is considered the world's top entrepreneur in 2025? Donald Trump, Richard Branson, or Elon Musk? Elon Musk. Why is fruit waxed? To increase appeal, protect from bacteria, or boost nutrition? Protect from bacteria. Where is this lake? In what state is this lake? The place with the longest official name in the U.S. Massachusetts, Tennessee, or Mississippi? Massachusetts. What energy-efficient light bulbs became widely available in the late 1980s? AFLs, BFLs, or CFLs? CFLs. Where was Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings adaptation predominantly filmed? Ireland, New Zealand, or Iceland? New Zealand. Which mammal has no vocal cords? The giraffe, the koala, or the badger? The giraffe. What was the original name of Facebook? The Facebook, the Facebook, or the Facebook with no spaces in between? The Facebook with no spaces in between. What is the official name of Turkmenistan's continually burning natural oil field crater? Darvaza gas crater, Gates of Hell, or the Shining of Karakam? The Shining of Karakam. How many colors won the original Pride flag at San Francisco's 1978 Gay Freedom Day Parade? 6, 7, or 8? 8. Which shoe brand is Roger Federer an ambassador for? Zamberlan, La Sportiva, or On? On. What does the B in BMW stand for? Berlin, Bavarian, or Bière? Bavarian. Which television program debuted with RuPaul as the host in 2009? Drag Time, Drag Race, or Drag Night? Drag Race. Where will the host of 2034 Winter Olympics be? Jackson Hole, Steamboat, or Salt Lake City? Salt Lake City. What is the smallest planet in our solar system? Neptune, Uranus, or Mercury? Mercury. What does HTTP stand for? Hypertext Transfer Page, hypertext transfer package, or hypertext transfer protocol? Hypertext transfer protocol. What are the fairy circles in the Namibia desert surrounded by? Water, grass, or clay? Grass. Which bone are babies born without? Ear, elbow, or kneecap? Kneecap. What is Savorite a variety of? Emerald, citrine, or garnet? Garnet. Which is the deadliest insect? Mosquito, tarantula, or tick? Mosquito. What country was the revolutionary Che Guevara born in? Cuba, Venezuela, or Argentina? Argentina. AD stands for what Latin phrase? Ani Domina, Anno Domini, or Anna Domino? Anno Domini. What is a juguete in Spanish? Toy, pet, or friend? Or that would be yuguet in Spanish. A toy. Where in the U.S. are Amicalola Falls? Amicalola Falls. North Carolina, South Carolina, or Georgia? Georgia. Which Frank McClure memoir was published in 1996? Anna's Ashes, Angela's Ashes, or Anastasia's Ashes? Angela's Ashes. Where is Broadway in New York City? Uptown Manhattan, Midtown Manhattan, or Downtown Manhattan? Midtown Manhattan. What language was the 2024 film I'm Still Here? Italian, Danish, or Portuguese? Portuguese. Which ocean shrinks by around 2 to 3 centimeters every year due to continental drift? The Indian Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, or Pacific Ocean? The Pacific Ocean. Which U.S. state has the most caves of anywhere on Earth? Arkansas, Iowa, or Kentucky? Kentucky. Which industry is the world's largest employer? Technology, retail, or agriculture? Agriculture. A needle object from which empire is in New York City's Central Park? Ancient Greece, ancient Rome, or ancient Egypt? Ancient Egypt. What was Istanbul initially founded as? New Rome, Constantinople, or Bosporopia? New Rome. Who was not a March sister? Elsie, Meg, or Amy? Elsie. Who has not been married to actor and businessman Ryan Reynolds? Scarlett Johansson, Blake Lively, or Alanis Morissette? Alanis Morissette. What is the emblem of the English national rugby team? A blue thistle, a white tulip, or a red rose? A red rose. Which is the world's #1 university? California Institute of Technology, Harvard University, or Massachusetts Institute of Technology? MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Where was the 1990 People's Movement Revolution? India, Pakistan, or Nepal? Nepal. In 2025, through which country's ports does 70% of the world's cocaine flow? Cuba, Panama, or Ecuador? Ecuador. What alcohol concentration in hand sanitizer is less effective? Low, medium, or high? Low. What characteristic gives 78 vinyl records their name? The diameter of the record, the average press run, or revolutions per minute? The revolutions per minute. In which country was the first motorcycle invented? Romania, Poland, or Germany? Germany. What is the largest bear species? Grizzly bear, panda bear, or polar bear? The polar bear. Which country's national anthem translates in English as the soldier's song? Armenia, Croatia, or Ireland? Ireland. What type of learning is kinesthetic? Auditory, writing, or physical touch? Physical touch. Which poet wrote, "Love is so short, forgetting is so long"? John Keats, Oscar Wilde, or Pablo Neruda? Pablo Neruda. Which animal is not one of Winnie the Pooh's close friends? A sheep, a pig, or a donkey? A sheep. What religious denomination was Father Arul Karasala assassinated on April 3rd, 2025 in Kansas? Russian Orthodox, Church of England, or Roman Catholic? That's Father Arul Karasala. Roman Catholic. What is Canada's summer national sport? Soccer, cricket, or lacrosse? Lacrosse. How many official languages does the United States have? 1, 2, or 3? One. Where is the 13th century Great Mosque of GENUIS? Senegal, Guinea, or Mali? Mali. What toxic metal isn't used as an ingredient in many Ayurvedic medicines? Arsenic, mercury, or lead? Arsenic. In which city is the Puerto Princesa subterranean river? Papua New Guinea, Mexico, or the Philippines? The Philippines. What is the Viennese waltz a genre of? Folk dance, lyrical dance, or ballroom dance? A ballroom dance. Where did architect Le Corbusier not hail from? Not hail from. Belgium, Switzerland, or France? Belgium. What is not one of the 6 U.S. regions? New England, Mid-Atlantic, or Pacific Northwest? Pacific Northwest. What animal is trademarked for the Peugeot car company? The tiger, the cheetah, or the lion? The lion. What did ancient Greeks and Romans believe was an antidote to drunkenness? Balsam, straw, or amethyst? Amethyst. In which European capital city is the Dancing House? Warsaw, Prague, or Budapest? Prague. Morphine was named after the Greek god Morpheus. What was he the god of? Life, dreams, or medicine? Dreams. What is the correct styling of the business name started by Craig Newmark in 1996? Craigslist or Craig's List with a capital L or a small c? Small c. In which continent are most of the world's languages not spoken? Asia, Europe, or Africa? Europe. Who was not a runner-up to Albert Einstein in Time magazine's Person of the Century in 1999? Mahatma Gandhi, Franklin D. Roosevelt, or J. Robert Oppenheimer? J. Robert Oppenheimer. How much food can the human stomach hold? About 1 liter, about 2 liters, or about 3 liters? About 1 liter. Which continent sits on all 4 hemispheres? Asia, Africa, or Europe? Africa. Where was the failed 1991 August coup? Germany, the UK, or the Soviet Union? The Soviet Union. Where was Amanda Knox incarcerated from 2007 to 2011? Italy, Germany, or France? Italy. On which part of the body is a conch piercing? Nose, lip, or ear? Ear. What was naturalist James Hutton the father of? Biology, astrology, or geology? Geology. What is the human body's largest artery? Radial, carotid, or aorta? Aorta. Which country's national anthem is the oldest? Denmark, the Netherlands, or Sweden? The Netherlands. What is the #1 cause of climate change in 2025? Agriculture, landfill, or power plants? Power plants. Which actor's character said, "Go ahead, make my day," in the 1983 film Sudden Impact? Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, or Clint Eastwood? Clint Eastwood. What pattern is the motor racing flag? Checkered, spotted, or striped? Checkered. In which country are no Nobel Prizes awarded? Sweden, Norway, or Denmark? Denmark. What is the Mingay movement known as in Europe and North America? Minimalist movement, suffrage movements, or arts and crafts movement? The arts and crafts movement. Which country uses the red dragon as its heraldic symbol? Wales, Austria, or Finland? Wales. Where is Vincent van Gogh's view in the 1889 oil painting The Starry Night? Corsica, Brittany, or Provence? Provence. What country's 1990s situation was the origin of the failed state terminology? Somalia, Myanmar, or Haiti? Somalia. Where was the 1999 Samba effect economic crisis? Chile, Belize, or Brazil? Brazil. What is the average number of Google searches per day? 1, 2, or 3 billion? $3 billion. Why was the U.S. Secret Service originally founded to combat communism, government corruption, or counterfeiting? Counterfeiting. Which Mariana Islands are a U.S. territory? Northern, Eastern, or Central? Northern. What area of science does the Coriolis force apply to? Chemistry, physics, or biology? Physics. What flower shape is the distinctive Baha'i temple in New Delhi, completed in 1986? Sunflower, orchid, or lotus? Lotus. Who was dubbed the Queen of All Media? Kamala Harris, Michelle Obama, or Oprah Winfrey? Oprah Winfrey. What switch bailed out the U.S. during the Civil War? Gold reserve, colonial tariffs, or paper money? Paper money. What type of product is MAC Cosmetics Ruby Woo? Blush, nail polish, or lipstick? Lipstick. What shape of hat is traditional in Vietnam? Conical, flat, or triangular? Conical. And our bonus question, which French fashion founder, Coco, made her last name the brand? Let us know the answer in the comments, and of course, how well you did with our quiz class Einstein rewards. Thanks for playing, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.